Hey guys, it's 5 here with episode number 32 of the Fulham career mode on FIFA 22. We're kicking today's episode off, taking on Newcastle at Craven Cottage. So, there is a real chance here to kind of pull away from the other teams fighting for the Champions League and even fighting for the league. Obviously, I've spoken about the results. We've already played Arsenal, Chelsea and Man City this season. We haven't dropped points. Sorry, we haven't lost points, I should say. We haven't lost to any of them, picking up 1 draw and 2 wins. 2 pretty good wins as well, especially against the Arsenal. We were 1-0 down, we won that one 2-1. And against Chelsea, we dominated that game really, really nicely. We come into this one against Newcastle. They don't have the money in FIFA 22. Probably next year's FIFA, they will probably have a bucket load of cash. But we do win a free kick early on in the game, and a quite spectacular cross finds the head of Ismaili Sarr, and I think that's the first time in a very, very long time that I've scored from a cross from a free kick. I very rarely will attempt the cross from the free kick just because they are so poor more often than not, but that one was pinpoint accurate onto the head of Ismaili Sarr. We know how good Reed is from long range, and unfortunately couldn't quite find the target here against Newcastle. Obviously he's got the goal of the season contender and had the episode named after him last episode, but this time out it didn't quite work out in his favour. As a chance here for Newcastle on the break, not really against the run of play. We should really be winning this one by a few more than just the one we've currently got. But again, anything can happen in the Premier League, and as a little scramble in the box happens here, Shah finds the ball in the edge of the box, eventually falls to Joe Willock. Lovely little 1-2 between him and Divock Origi. It's eventually going to find Willock, who puts the ball into the back of the net, but thankfully for ourselves, he is called offside, and rightly so. And the score does remain at 1-0. A lovely, though, flick of the ball out to the wing-back from James Ward-Prowse. Eventually we're going to find it back in field. Maddison's going to go for a strange shot. Didn't quite work out, though. We've got so many good players from long range. We've got Reed, Ward-Prowse, Maddison. Webber's not too bad from long range, so it's really, really good to see. And speaking of a nice long range curled effort, Maddison gets quite fortunate. Dubravka probably should be doing better in that situation. I think it's Dubravka, it might be Willock, no, not Willock, Woodman, or could be Carl Darley, I'm not too sure. But the Newcastle goalkeeper should be doing better in that situation. But we will take any goal we can get. We're 2-0 to the good now, and that should, all things considered, the dominance in this game and whatnot, be 3 points for ourselves as Ward-Prowse goes and hits the crossbar after scoring his first goal of the agenda for Fulham in the previous episode against Chelsea. He's off the mark, he's getting his confidence up. Brilliant. He hit the crossbar against Arsenal as well. One day he's going to score one of those just beautiful long range efforts from non-set piece, but until that day we wait, and we do score headers with Riley Webber. 2 headers in this game is really good to see, you know, the kind of difference in the goals we are scoring this season. More long range efforts, more nice finessed efforts, more headers. It's just really good to see the kind of changes that the signings have brought to this team in a positive way. And the defensive structure of this team has again been much better with Lafont in goal. He's saved us quite a few times in which I don't think Rodak would have done had we had him in goal for this season. Another headed effort, this time from Dennis. Didn't quite work out the same, but we're already 3-0 up. We don't really need that 4th goal. That is just going to be a bit of fun, a bit of a cherry on top, and maybe help us later on in the season with our goal difference. But a lovely save, like I said there, from Lafont, keeping us in these games, or keeping us with the clean sheet in these games, just to give the defence even more confidence that behind them they've got a keeper who can make saves that maybe only a handful of other goalkeepers on the planet can make. And with Frimpong charging through on goal and striking it, that is another example of one of those saves. And a 3-0 victory against Newcastle. Overall, a really good performance from ourselves, and we continue to climb the Premier League table, and we're looking now to pull away from 2nd place, because we're top of the league, like I mentioned in the previous episode, but we are looking to pull away from Liverpool, who's sitting 2nd place, and hopefully we can do so. And if we can win the league, obviously if you remember, in the Championship season, we won the league in December. We were that dominant in the league. We pretty much had it wrapped up in December. Obviously it wasn't official until I believe March that we won it. But if we could do the same in the Premier League this season, that would be brilliant, because if we can wrap up the Premier League early, it gives us more focus on the cup competitions. And obviously, as I said, we want to win some silverware this season. As a lovely goal from Izet Begovic. He does get his second of the game, and he's on for a hat-trick here against Helsinki. Obviously, we found out that's in Finland. And the group of, well, our group, should I say, Sporting, Celtic and Helsinki. We got the win against Sporting at home last time out. We're looking to get the win here against Helsinki. They're the weakest team in the group, so we should get a result against them. But there's a real kind of good opportunity to top this group and get the advantage going into the knockout rounds. There's a lovely finish from Williams. We've not quite seen that much of him just because of the kind of appearance of James Maddison this season. But when he does play, especially in the Europa League and appearances off the bench, he is really, really good. And it is nice to see that one of our kind of bigger talents coming out of the youth academy. Obviously, we have the three main talents from the academy: Riley Webber, Williams and Roberts. They are our three main ones. We can now chuck Izet Begovic into that. So we've got 4 players that we can just build the squad around, ready for the future. As you can see there, Begovic does secure his hat-trick, and he does make it 4-0 to ourselves. As 68 minutes into the game, we're 4-0 up. We're cruising at this point as Roberts is charging onto the ball, strikes it in at that near post, and is a wonderful finish from our winger, who only really, normally, should I say, scores in pairs or triples or quadruples. This time he only gets the one, as it is Izet Begovic that does get the goal. 5 attempts, 3 goals, much better than the first game where he had 5 attempts and just got the 1. And yeah, that's 6 points out of a possible 6 in the Europa League. I think if we win our 3rd group stage game, that's pretty much going to be us secured, ready for the knockout stages. And obviously we're playing the rotational team, but they are still playing really, really well. So there's not really much we can kind of do in that competition. Obviously Celtic are the team we have to play next. And then we go back around for the reverse fixtures. But coming into the final game of today's episode, we're travelling to Villa Park to take on Aston Villa. Sitting 17th in the league in this one. You can see they're the lowest scoring team in the league with only 6 goals in the 6 games. We've got to be up there as one of the highest, I will say. I haven't checked the stats yet, but got to be up there. And with a goal like that, a bit of luck has sometimes got to be on your side. As Riley Webber, the captain this season, number 7, Riley Webber does put the ball into the back of the net, as I said, aided with the deflection, and unfortunately it actually will go down as an own goal. Not one for Riley Webber, who's not had the maybe the most prolific of seasons, obviously compared to last season. It's kind of been James Maddison that's picked up that baton of being the goal scorer this season. Dennis, I don't think, has really found the back of the net. He hasn't found his shooting boots. Obviously last season he was outscored by Riley Webber, and I think he was scored maybe 13 goals last season, and I think Riley Webber had double that. I think he had 26. But that might be the next change we look to do. Maybe signing a new, much more prolific striker to replace Dennis, who can become backup, and then maybe we look to sell on Delap, or maybe we promote Izet Begovic to become the first team striker, because he did get a hat-trick in the previous game, and obviously he is 5 ratings lower, but he has the potential as Dzeko's regen. Obviously we know how prolific Dzeko was in real life, but we're 1-0 up here against Villa, and we're actually maybe being kind of put up against the ropes here, you know. They're fighting a really, really good fight, and we're trying to find that second goal just to secure the victory and save us any embarrassment dropping points to a team so low in the table. But we just can't find it, and they are being really nice on the counter-attack here. You can see Boa Santos takes it down brilliantly, strikes it, and he is really close to scoring a potential goal of the season, goal of his career nonetheless. But thankfully we held out. The early goal from Riley Webber, or the own goal, whatever, is what secured us from Villa. That's going to be it for this episode though. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like, subscribe, and peace.